ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਸੂਹੀ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਚੌਥਾ ਘਰ ਸਤਵਾਂ। ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਤੇਰੇ ਕਵਨ ਕਵਨ ਗੁਣ ਕਹਿ ਕਹਿ ਗਾਵਾਂ। ਤੂੰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਗੁਣੀ ਨਿਧਾਨਾ। ਤੁਮਰੀ ਮਹਿਮਾ ਬਰਨ ਨਾ ਸਾਕਉ। ਤੂੰ ਠਾਕੁਰ ooch bhagvaanaa। ਤੇਰੇ ਕਵਨ ਕਵਨ ਗੁਣ ਕਹਿ ਕੇ ਗਾਵਾਂ। ਤੂੰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਗੁਣੀ ਨਿਧਾਨਾ। ਤੁਮਰੀ ਮਹਿਮਾ ਬਰਨਾ ਸਾਕੋ। ਤੂੰ ਠਾਕੁਰ ooch ਭਗਵਾਨਾ। ਮੈਂ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਧਰ ਸੋਈ। ਜੋ ਭਾਵੇ ਤਿਉ ਰਾਖ ਮੇਰੇ ਸਾਹਿਬ। ਮੈਂ ਤੁਝ ਬਿਨ ਅਵਰ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਰਹਾਉ। ਮੈਂ ਤਾਣ ਦੀਵਾਨ ਤੂੰ ਹੈ ਮੇਰੇ ਸੁਆਮੀ। ਮੈਂ ਤੁਧ ਆਗੈ ਅਰਦਾਸ। ਮੈਂ ਹੋਰ ਥਾਉ ਨਾਹੀ ਜਿਸ ਪਹਿ ਕਰੂੰ ਬੇਨੰਤੀ। ਮੇਰਾ ਦੁੱਖ ਸੁਖ ਤੁਝ ਹੀ ਪਾਸ। ਵਿੱਚ ਧਰਤੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਣੀ। ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਸ਼ਟ ਅਗਨ ਧਰੀਚੈ। ਬੱਕਰੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਇਕੱਤੈ ਥਾਏ। ਰਾਖੇ ਮਨ ਹਰ ਜਪ ਭ੍ਰਮ ਪਉ ਦੂਰ ਕੀਜੈ। ਹਰ ਕੀ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਦੇਖੋ ਸੰਤ ਹੋ। ਹਰ ਨਿਮਾਣਿਆ ਮਾਣ ਦੇਵਾਏ। ਜੋ ਧਰਤੀ ਚਰਨ ਤਲੇ ਤੇ ਉਪਰ ਆਵੈ। ਤਿਉ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਾਧ ਜਨਾ ਜਗਤ ਆਣ ਸਭ ਪੈਰੀ ਪਾਏ। ਹਰ ਕੀ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਦੇਖੋ ਸੰਤ ਹੋ। ਹਰ ਨਿਮਾਣਿਆ ਮਾਣ ਦੇਵਾਏ। ਜੋ ਧਰਤੀ ਚਰਨ ਤਲੇ ਤੇ ਉਪਰ ਆਵੈ। ਤਿਉ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਾਧ ਜਨਾ ਜਗਤ ਆਣ ਸਭ ਪੈਰੀ ਪਾਏ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, today's ਪਾਵਨ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ is on Ang, starts on Ang 734 and then continues on to Ang 735, and it's in Suhi Raag, that Raag of love, and it's by Guru Ramdas ji Sache Paatshah ji, our fourth Guru, Chauthe Guru Sahiban ji, Guru Ramdas ji Sache Paatshah ji. In this Sri Hukamnama Sahib ji, this is the Hukamnama Sahib from Sri Darbar Sahib, Sri Sachkhand Harmandir Sahib. Starts off with the Mangala Charan of Ek oankaar satgur prasaad. Guru Ramdas ji Paat ji saying that to obtain, to have union with that one, which is actually the purpose of this human form. The only form that can have union with Vaheguru ji is the human form. So Paat saying Ek oankaar, to become one with that one that we've all come from, whilst being within the creation, that oam, and then kar, that one is constant and is stable within the entire creation. But for us to, whilst being in that creation and to reach that stability and be with that one, Pachaji saying that satgur prasaad. He's saying only with the prasaad, prasaad meaning grace, meaning kirpa, only with the kirpa of the satgur, of the true Guru, the Guru of truth. The Guru of truth means the one that unites us with that one that is the only truth. Truth meaning the one that has always been and the one that will always remain. So Sangat ji, today Guru Ramdas ji Paat ji, they say in this Shabad, they start off saying tere kavan kavan gun keh keh gaavaa. They're saying tere kavan kavan. Tere, yours Vaheguru ji, kavan kavan gun. Good meaning qualities. Kavan kavan is which ones? Kede kede. Which one of your qualities keh keh gaavaa shall I actually sing of? Sing tu sahib guni nidhaanaa. Because here Vaheguru ji, you are the sahib, meaning master of what? Guni nidhaanaa. Nidhaanaa means the treasure. You are the treasure of all qualities. I cannot comprehend all your qualities, never mind not being able to comprehend all your qualities, that I can't even understand in complete even one of your qualities. So Sangat Ji, Vaheguru Ji, when we say that Vaheguru Ji is compassionate, to even understand compassion, it's not something we can understand intellectually, but passion is a quality, is something that we can actually experience inside of us. And still, even when we're experiencing it, we can be in it, but we cannot explain it in full. The power of compassion, of how far compassion can take someone, how much force is actually behind compassion. Sangat Ji, because when we look at compassion, from compassion came places like Pingalwada. From compassion acted the likes of Bhagat Puran Singh Ji. But Pyareo, that the depth of compassion, Paat Ji say that tere gun bahut hai main ek na janya. You have so many qualities, tere gun bahut hai, but main ek na janya. I've not even come to know one of your qualities. What that means is that one of your qualities, when we go beyond that parda, beyond that veil of ego, Sangat Ji, because where there is ego, these qualities cannot exist. Only when we go beyond the man, when we go beyond me, then we will find Vaheguru Ji's qualities sitting there. Only then we can tap into that emotion of compassion. But Sangat Ji, even when we tap into that emotion of Sangat, that compassion, it doesn't mean then we blindly, from that force, just go and do something. We need everything. Then we need Buddh Vivek as well. Sangat Ji, let me give you an example. So, Pacha Ji here, this is talking all about gun and qualities. Tumree mehimaa, your glory, Vaheguru Ji, baran. I'm not able to explain. Tthaakur, you are the master. Ooch, bhagvaanaa, you the greatest and the highest of all. Meaning that your qualities, Vaheguru Ji, that just being able to be in touch with a quality like compassion, it's got so much power and it's got so much force. Sangat Ji, it's an emotion. Like I said, it is what creates that path to helping somebody, to actually going out and ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਭੁੱਖੇ ਦੇ ਮੂੰਹ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੋਟੀ ਪਾਉਣੀ, ਉਹ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਆ? ਉਹ ਦਇਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਆ. Giving somebody that is hungry, giving them that food. But where Bhagat Puran Singh Ji went to the extent where those people that were outcasted from society, those people that had such disabilities and such diseases that nobody else in the world wanted to even touch, towards those people that nobody even wanted to look at. But Bhagat Puran Singh Ji was so touched by that because they had gone beyond that home of I, of me. So what had happened, so Bhagat Puran Singh Ji, from that driving force, Bhagat Puran Singh Ji was able to go and make those that nobody wanted to know, that nobody wanted to touch. Bhagat Puran Singh Ji, from that Shakti, how powerful is compassion, that were actually able to make those people, those diseased people that were suffering, they were able to make them, Bhagat Puran Singh Ji described themselves, the garland of their necks. Because Bhagat Puran Singh Ji would have them put their arm around them and they would carry them, and they became Bhagat Puran Singh Ji's garland, their har. That's how Bhagat Puran Singh Ji decorated themselves. Sangat Ji, but sometimes what can happen is when we're touched by that emotion of compassion and we see some suffering in the world, and sometimes we act more out of impulsiveness. But Paach is saying that Akli Sahib Seviye. Akli Sahib Seviye, Paach is saying at the same time we've got to have a sharper intellect as well, and looking at the situation and looking at what is going to be the best way to actually deal with this situation as well. So not acting so impulsively, but letting that compassion, the energy of compassion being our driving force to actually go out and dispel and take away some of that suffering. But at the same time, by saying akli means with your with your intellect. Akli sahib seviye, akli. It's saying even when we give to someone, when we give charity, when we look at that suffering and our wealth might help in whichever way, and whether it be our health, our wealth, Sangji, whether it be our physical self, but saying it's actually using that Buddha Babek. So it's having that perfect balance. Sangji, today we've titled this Katha of sometimes we've got these opposing qualities inside, but how do you balance those? So Sangaji, that we've got that the drive of compassion, but at the same time we actually then contemplate and really deeply contemplate on how is this situation going to be actually resolved? How can I help the best? Sangaji, and obviously that's not bringing the I into it. So it's not just about acting compulsively. So Sangaji, coming back to what Satguruji Sache Paatshah is saying here, that I cannot speak of your glory, Vaheguruji, that give me that blessing that I'm able to go beyond my own ego and then act out of compassion as well, just like those like Bhagat Pooran Singh Ji. And those of you that have got time at the moment, that if you fall into that where you're not able to go out to work at the moment because of the lockdown, and you've got that type of job where it allows you to stay at home at the moment, so maybe take that opportunity, that read a book and research on somebody like Bhagat Pooran Singh Ji. You know, watch the film Eho Janam Tumhare Lekhe, and we don't know in which way how it might inspire us. It might spark something inside of us, and we might find our calling during this period, because Sangatji, we've all been so busy in that rat race of life, just waking up in the morning, that panicking, getting the kids to school on time, running around, and then picking them back up, and then yes, we've still got all those duties to do, and I know there's many workers still outside working at the moment with full force, Sangaji, but I'm just saying, those of you that are spending more time at home at the moment, you know, we could actually find our calling. What is it that I'm really here for in this world? Was it just to accumulate wealth? Was it just to try and get higher and higher position just due to status, and maybe just doing it unconsciously? I don't even know why I'm doing it. Just trying to, you know, climb up that ladder. It might not be a conscious decision where we're doing it because we actually need that extra money just so we can, you know, just so we can survive at home. Or it could be because you want to be in a certain position that you could be more parupakari, you could help others. But sometimes we're just unconscious, and we get stuck in a race, and we're just constantly racing. But this could be that somehow to reflect and find our calling. How is it, in which way can Vaheguru use me to serve this creation, this world, the people of this world? So Sangat Ji, Paatshah Ji saying, "Ma har har naam tar soohee." They're saying that there's one thing that has become my tar, become my support, and that is Ma har har naam, and that is the name of God. And that is, Sangat Ji, I was thinking about this today, and I was contemplating that many of times we try and think of how can we break away from bad habits? How can we stop ourselves from doing something? And we really want to get away from that, whether it be the addiction of intoxication, of different types of intoxications, alcohol, drugs, whether it be the addiction of social media, whether it be the addiction of constantly feeling the need to eat something. But naam is that thing that har har naam tar soohee, that when that naam of Vaheguru Ji starts to seem so sweet to me inside, and it's constantly thumping inside of me, that it's so sweet, and the anand of it, the bliss of it, the bliss that it's giving me is so immense, that I don't need then to put things in place and to work out how to break out of a habit. But the more sahara we take of naam, of reciting God's name, and that name starting to travel inside of us, where it goes from Bakri, from where we speaking it out loud, we're saying Vaheguru, 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 but then it starts to become more subtle, and then it becomes like a whisper inside, and we could just hear it very subtly, and it just becomes. But then that very naam starts to travel deeper inside of us, and then it reaches our gant, where it just feels like this vibration, and it's beating with our that beat, that pulse within our gant, within our throat area. Tongue's not moving anymore. The ekagarta, the focus, the attention is growing and becoming more and more subtle, and everything now, my concentration, everything is now just all falling into place, and now we can just feel that Gurmantar beating. We can sense it just in that Ganta area. And as that ras grows, and as that the pleasure of that grows of naam, then it will take us away automatically from these habits, if we want to call it bad habits or just habits, you know, or let's call it addictions, these addictions that we've fallen into. That ras of naam, the juice that naam produces, it will take us away from these addictions. Sangat ji, jo bhave tyo raag mere sahib. That this is a benti saying, hey Vaheguru ji, jo bhave, as it pleases you, Vaheguru ji. Bhave means to please. Tyo raag mere sahib, oh my master Sahib, raag, keep me in that way. Make me only do those things that please you, Vaheguru ji. And remember, how will I know it's pleasing you? That will actually be making me feel more and more content inside. Main tujh bin avar na koi, I have no one other than you, Vaheguru ji. For me, there is only you. Rahao. Pachi is saying, think, pause, and contemplate on what Guru Ramdas Ji Paat Ji has just said. So, main taan diban, main taan. Taan means strength. My strength, Vaheguru Ji, my whole complete. I rely on you. You are my strength, Vaheguru Ji. You are my power. You are my bal. Diban tu hai. You are my court. Saying, Mere Swami hai Vaheguru Ji, that you are my strength for me. Main tod aage ardas. I only put a request before you, Vaheguru Ji. Main hor thau nahi. There is no other place for me other than putting my plea and my cry to you, Vaheguru Ji. Jis peh karo benanti, where I actually put this benanti, where I actually do this benanti, this ardas, this cry, this plea, karo. And Sangat Ji, mera dukh sukh tujhi paas. Whatever it is in my life, whether it be that time of suffering for me, whether it be that time of pain for me, whether it be time of sukh for me, whether it be when everything's going all well and I'm feeling good and happy, whether it be dukh, suffering, whether it be sukh, that time of happiness, tujhi paas. But I will only say to you, I will put it before you, Vaheguru Ji. Sangat Ji, let's not confuse this. Sometimes when we talk about this, it doesn't mean that even I know I just use the words, I only put it to you. It doesn't mean that we don't go to anyone else. It doesn't mean that we can't speak to anyone else, because remember, this is what we're trying to encourage in today's time. That if somebody's suffering, if somebody's feeling that they're falling into that pit of depression, if somebody's feeling that they're being overwhelmed with anxiety, no, it doesn't mean to shut yourself away and block it all inside. And it doesn't mean that you don't say it to anyone. But Sangat Ji, what my Guru Ramdas Ji Paat Ji is saying, what I feel Guru Ramdas Ji Paat Ji is saying, because the truth is, Guru Sahib Ji, only you know what you are saying. We can only merely just make an humble attempt to try and understand what you are saying, Guru Ramdas Ji. Even if I read somebody's translation, even that, it's all dependent on my own experiences of life and my own intellect, how sharp it is for me to be able to understand even translations, somebody else's gatha, how much you today take away from this that are listening. Because aap apni buddha hai jeti depends on our own intellect. Aap apni buddha hai jeti barnat pen pen tohe teti. Only that I can say of you, Vaheguru, depending on my own intellect and understanding. Sangat ji, Path ji here isn't saying that don't speak to anyone, because that can be very dangerous. It could be that we completely block our feelings inside, and which could lead to something like even suicide. It could lead to all sorts. It could lead to this body becoming diseased because we're blocking up, because we're blocking our emotions and what we're feeling inside. No, Sangat ji, what this is saying, they're saying that you may go and speak to somebody. You may even go and speak to a psychologist who's trained and is a professional. You may go and speak to another Gursikh brother or sister. You may go and speak to a parent, whoever it is, Sangat ji, that you feel that may understand. There's one thing to always understand inside. Pacha ji say that, remember, Jis manuk peh karon binanti. This is to that person that I am going and putting a request forward. Jis manuk peh karo binanti. Manuk, if I'm going to a person and putting my request forward, a request means I'm saying that I need help. I need you. I'm suffering at this moment, and I'm putting a request forward to you to help me to get out of this suffering. So apne dukh parya, Paach is saying, but they may have so many pains and they might be suffering themselves. They might know the answers intellectually, but Sangat ji, they may not have been able to get themselves out of their own suffering. They may be stuck themselves. Yes, but speaking to somebody, Sangat ji, they can give us pointers, they can give us indicators, they can say to us, look, try this. But ultimately, Sangat ji, the only one that really understands is that Vaheguru ji that is inside. And until we don't cry and put that request to that Vaheguru ji inside, even being able to try and put into place what even a professional, a psychologist or another Gursikh has said to us, we might not have even the strength to do it. We might not understand what they are saying. They may not have understood us fully, but it doesn't mean we don't go to them, because we can still take so much away. But the truth is, when we go deep inside and we cry to Vaheguru ji from inside and we say, Main hor thau nahi jis peh karon binanti, there is no other place for me where I actually put my request forward. This is very important. Maharaji used the word request. What they're saying is, somebody else we could go to them and we could put our pain in front of them, but we don't put a benanti to them. We don't say to them that I have now got all my hopes set in you to be able to take this away from me. Now I want you to do it for me. Sangat ji, nobody can do it for us. But Vaheguru ji, we can, like I said, we can get advice from them. If we're struggling with our thoughts, they could give us a way of how to deal with our thoughts. But who has the ability to actually take over and take our suffering away for us? That is Vaheguru ji. I put my request to Vaheguru ji and saying, Vaheguru ji, I do put my hopes in you, because sabo aase teri baitha, that everybody sits in hope, in putting the hopes in you, Vaheguru ji. That's when I go deep inside and I say, Vaheguru ji, that main hor thau nahi jis peh karon binanti, mera dukh sukh tujh hi paas. that I put my dukh, my suffering and my time of happiness to you. And when inside I go deep inside and say, Vaheguru Ji, now show me the way. Somebody else is giving me this advice. Show me, Vaheguru Ji, how to actually put it into play. You show me, Vaheguru Ji, how I'm actually going to do this. Because the result is you that is going to bring that result, not the psychologist, not anyone else. It's you, Vaheguru Ji, that is going to make this work. You show me the way. You now take over and help me get through this, Vaheguru Ji. And when we have that dialect deep inside, it's being put out into that cosmos, into that Vaheguru Ji. Vaheguru Ji will start working. Everything will start working towards us shifting and getting out of that suffering and that mindset of whatever we are going through. So as well as whoever else we go to talk to, we don't have that hope that they are going to do it for us. They will just give us pointers. They will give us certain advice that to take. But it's Vaheguru Ji that will do it. We go inside. Vaheguru Ji will give us the effort to actually carry out the advice. Vaheguru Ji will bring the result for us as well. But doing that benanti inside is very important, because things will start to happen. We will see that benanti will start to manifest, and things will start to work towards us actually doing that task that has been told to us by the psychologist, by the friend, by the parent, it could be our own child. Viche dharti, viche pani. Pachaji saying, within this world, within this creation that Akal Purkh Vaheguru Ji has made, is the dharti, exists the earth. Meaning, look at this, there's two opposing things. Within this dharti, within this creation, what you can see is the dharti, which is, we'll look at it today in the sense of dirt, but viche pani. But pani here is here as well. Pani being something that is immaculate, something that is pure. Vich caste aganatri jai. Sangaji, look, that Pachaji is saying within the caste, meaning the wood, is that agni, is the fire. Tri jai. Pachaji is saying, look at this, both of these things are in the same place. So meaning that when we go through a certain process with two pieces of wood, Pachaji is saying that from within side, that there will be fire that comes out. They're saying, look at this wondrous play of Vaheguru Ji. They're saying, look at this, that Bakri Singh ikatte thain. It says within one place, within one jungle, that there's a Bakri, and I've even seen it translated to a sheep, but often a Bakri is translated to a goat. Singh meaning a lion. There's a lion, and there's a Bakri that is all in one place. But you're saying, look at that these two oppose each other. That how can a Bakri and a Singh and a lion be in one place? Because one actually hunts the other. Rakhe man. Pach Singh Bakri Singh ikate thain rakhe man har jap pram pau dur kije. Is saying that keep me, O Vaheguru Ji, that take away my doubts. Pau, take away my fears. Dur kije, take away this fear. So Sangaji, why does Maharaji give us all these examples and say take away these fears? Often we're like this Bakri that has got this fear of the lion. And there's many ways that we could be looking at this. That lion, or we could say tiger, is the fear for the Bakri. So what is that tiger for us? That lion, Sangaji, for us is death. We're like the goat that has that fear of death inside of us. But Guru Sahib Ji is saying, look how both of these have been put in place in one place. You can't have death without birth. Birth and death, they both go together. But for us, it's to come out of this fear and have this realization that this is the game of this creation. There is birth and death. You can't have one without the other. So Sangat Ji, Baj Ji is putting these two opposing things inside of us. Guys, that death isn't negative and birth isn't just positive. Birth and death, they're just two sides of the same coin. And we won't when we have that realization and we start to see Vaheguru Ji's game, then Sangat Ji, that death won't be fear. Baj Ji here is saying to us that you've got on one side, you've got Bani, you've got dirt, but you've got something immaculate as well inside. In one place within the same body, we could have such thoughts that full of so much dirt and that destroy us. But within there we have the Bani as well, but inside of us we have that Naam as well to be able to wash away those thoughts as well. So it's about how do we tap into that Bani to then actually wash away those thoughts of dirt. Sangat Ji, the other way of looking at this is that there's Bakri Singh, Taksal, the Sampradayas have translated the Singh to pride inside of us. And the Bakri, this goat, to be Nimrta inside of us, of humility inside of us. How can these two opposing things be in the same place together? And this is Sangat Ji, this is what people get confused. They think if I've got Nimrta, then that means to have low self-esteem. No, it doesn't. Sangat Ji, Nimrta means that I don't look down on anyone. And the Singh, when I get afraid that how can I have pride and Nimrta at the same time? Sangat Ji, it's not pride that we have, because pride means when we look down at someone. So yes, they are opposing. You can't have both of them at the same time. Baj is saying, look at this wondrous game inside of us. We tap into the energy where pride comes from. So we have Nimrta, we have the goat of humility, but we have the confidence and fearlessness of that Singh, of that lion. So we can be fearless and be in humility at the same time. Sangat Ji, this is a topic in itself, which Sangat Ji I will cover in Sunday evening's Katha at 7 p.m. on Sunday, which will be covered under the Panjachor Katha. I don't want to now go into it because I won't do justice to it. And this will be covered in Sunday's Katha, going to detail of how in our everyday lives it affects us. It doesn't mean to have low self-esteem, having Nimrta, having humility. And I'll give everyday examples just so we can relate to these things as well. So we'll cover that in Sunday's Katha, Sangat Ji. The truth is, looking at these Pangtiyan, when I personally read the Steeks, and the Steeks, which are the explanations of Gurbani, they give multiple ways of looking at this. And when I see multiple ways given to look at something, what we're actually saying is, Guru Ramdas Ji Pachaji, these examples that you've used of the wood and fire, the goat and the lion, and you've used the example of Dharti, the Pani and the dirt, only you really know, Satguruji, what you mean by this. And that's why when once Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Pacha, they did Arth, they explained Japji Sahib, and the Guru Sikh said, Maharaj, that was amazing. But Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Pacha Ji turned around and said, Sikho, this is Arth Keval Guru Nanak Janu. Only Guru Nanak Dev Ji Pacha Ji knows what they meant in Japji Sahib, keeping that humility, teaching us, saying to us that truly we sometimes can only but make a humble attempt to try and understand what Guru Sahib is saying, but what they actually meant by these examples, we may never know. But the most important thing is the teaching that we take from it, what we get out from it. Har ki ਵਡਿਆਈ ਦੇਖੋ ਸੰਤੋ. O saints, look at the greatness of Vaheguru Ji. ਹਰ ਨਿਮਾਣਿਆ ਮਾਣ ਦੇ ਵਾਏ. That Vaheguru Ji gives honor to those that are honorless. ਜੋ ਧਰਤੀ ਚਰਨ ਤਲੇ ਤੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਆਵੇ. They sing just like the ਧਰਤੀ, the earth is below our feet, and as we walk on this earth and the dust of that earth starts to blow up into the air, so they say in that same way, Nanak Sad Jana Jagata An Sab Peri Pae, says the Sads, those that are the servants of Vaheguru Ji, that are lowest of all, that what happens to them, it says that the whole world comes and falls at their feet. The truth is, those that become the lowest are the highest in Vaheguru Ji's eyes. Aapas ko jo jane neecha, Paach Singh aapas ko jo jane neechas, tista hoye sab te oocha. Paach Singh, they become the highest. We've got to become the lowest, and that is our mission in life, and then we will be the highest in Vaheguru Ji's eyes. So Sangat Ji, we've got to become that bakri, we've got to become that goat where we have humility inside, but at the same time we have the sing inside as well. We have that confidence and we're fearless as well from inside. We have both qualities. So Sangat Ji, itni ek benti hai Pravan, ek nahi par aneka galtiyan ho giyan han. I've made many mistakes as I've gone through this Hukamnama. And like I said, we cannot do tere kavan gun kahe gaavaa. What qualities of yours can I actually sing of, Vaheguru Ji? You are so beyond. Forgive me for my mistakes, Sangat Ji. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. Satnam, Satnam, Satnam Ji. Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru Ji. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.